This book was very different from the first book. Prem Rawat's an unknown author to many people. Fortunately, I had a contact in the States and he introduced me to the literary agent, Chris Ferraby.
It can be a difficult process in terms of acquiring a literary agent for a number of reasons. The primary one being that almost everybody feels like they have a story to tell. Even once you have an agent, it's difficult for us to place projects with publishers.
No way was it a slam dunk. It was going to be an uphill battle to get the publishing deal done. But I had a lot of faith in Chris.
It was a little interesting to me that Prem hadn't had more of a presence here in the States. One of the realities for publishers here in the United States is they sell books in the United States.
First thing that happened is I had a call with Prem. That was just a wonderful conversation. And Prem is so down to earth, easy to talk to, does not put on airs, and the quality of his thought really impressed me.
It was a successful call as far as I could tell, but you know, it's like going for a job interview. You don't know if you've got the job or not. And you come out of it thinking, well, I think it went well.
Harper One caught a vision for what the possibilities were, but similarly had questions about the fact that Prem's primary audience seemed to be outside of the United States.
I think the only piece of the puzzle that was missing was introducing Prem to audiences in the US.
I was pretty convinced, became a fan and a cheerleader. So I took it to the team and basically talked them into it. They just had to trust me. I've been here a long time and they trusted me that hey, Mickey's excited, this must be the real thing. And we decided to go forward.
It was probably a few weeks later, it was about 3-4 weeks later, I got a text message about 11 o'clock at night. We've got the deal and it's a fantastic offer. And I just texted Prem straight away.
I know that Paul in particular was hopeful that HarperCollins would have an interest. So that was the publisher that ultimately came through and made an offer and was ready to move forward. I think this was kind of the cherry on top.
The book, I jokingly told Mickey, the editor, that we should try to create a new BISAC or a new genre that instead of being self-help should be help me help you category. I said that jokingly, but I was actually pretty serious. After doing some research, I realized that his story is actually pretty remarkable. And I think that was key, is who's telling the story. And it was in discovering Prem and then seeing his authenticity, his life story, everything he's been able to accomplish with the same pure, true message. I think that's what it was that we needed to replicate for others as part of the campaign.
On the one hand, Prem's message is really simple, and there's an aspect of what he's sharing that may not feel entirely new to you.
It's one of those rare books where you buy it at a point in time, and then the message becomes even more important by the time it comes out. And he defines it as just something like just understanding what it means to be a human being. This is not some esoteric thing. This is how to be a better human being and what resources are available to us.
This book is a movement. It's already becoming one, and it's going to continue to be a movement.
When I saw we were in the New York Times bestseller list, it was like, yes.
Wednesday afternoon, I started getting these congratulatory emails, and that's just never happened. I have to say that was one of the most unique experiences I've had in publishing.
There's hundreds of thousands of books that are published every year. The average lifetime sales of a book published in the United States is somewhere around the neighborhood of 5,000 units. That's not a sufficient number of units to make a New York Times list.
In my mind, there was never a doubt that this book would make that list, and it's going to continue to make national and international lists.
It was just a wonderful, beautiful moment. And I'm sure Prem was very happy about it, but I don't think he understood. I think it was a better experience for me than for him.
It's been a huge source of pride for me professionally, because I am able to, in a small and humble way, align myself with this book and its success. It is a great source of pride to say I was involved in this project, and look at the effect it's having on people, on markets, in the publishing industry.
I hope just the start of that momentum for his message. And really, what is this? This is a way for him to reach a lot of people, a way for him to inspire a whole new generation of people.
We're really hoping that this message of finding these sources of peace within and bringing that out into the world desperately needs that message.
I never really felt that I needed to sit down and write, because the traditions always had been a living person talking to living people, and let it be. Through a book, you can keep reaching people, generation after generation after generation. The approach that is being taken with this book is very clearly to put the human being back in the driver's seat. This book comes from the heart, is for the heart, and this is who you really are.